What exactly happens when your ex breaks no contact with you? That is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about their emotional state, and we're also going to be talking about what you can do if you're trying to recreate a positive connection with them and even get back together with them. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this, and be sure to watch this through all the way to the end, because this is going to be full of some practical, real-life advice here. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right on into this. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life. And we are, of course, today talking about what your ex's experience is when they are actually breaking no contact and getting in touch with you. So first of all, there are a lot of reasons why someone might choose to do no contact. Maybe you've just heard about that somewhere on the internet. Maybe some other so-called expert or whatever has told you to do it. I don't necessarily follow that line of logic, because I think sometimes it makes sense to do no contact and sometimes it doesn't make sense to do no contact. I don't like the whole one-size-fits-all approach that a lot of other people seem to have when it comes to no contact. A lot of people seem to think that you should just turn your brain off and just always do no contact all the time forever. Doesn't always work. I don't think that you should have to do no contact if your ex, is in a rebound relationship. Do no contact if your ex and you have a fight. Do no contact if your ex is upset with you. Do no contact if your ex won't talk to you. Do no contact if your ex is doing no contact with you, or anything else, right? It doesn't always make sense. What I want to encourage you and everyone else to do is to have the ability to feel into the moment and know what the right thing for you is. And sometimes that might be no contact, sometimes it might be something else entirely. I really want you to be able to know whether it makes sense for you to be in contact or whether it makes sense for you to not be in contact. In case you have no idea what my official take on all of this is, I have a whole video playlist right up there where we go over the difference between active no contact and passive no contact, when you should think about doing it, when you should think about not doing it, etc. Go ahead and check that out. Anyway, for whatever reason, let's just say you are in no contact and your ex has reached out to you for one reason or other. What's going on with them? Where are they at? And what should you do about it? So it's important to know that when you are doing no contact, you are not going to be clued in to everything that's actually happening with your ex. There's going to be this entirely invisible process that's going to be totally beyond what you are necessarily able to see and experience in any given moment. Back when me and my big ex were going through our breakup, for the second time anyway, we ended up doing no contact. She did some stuff and I realized that I was really upset, and I had some doubts about who she was as a person, and so I decided I was going to do no contact. If you have no idea what my personal story is when it comes to all of this, please go ahead and check that out right up there. But basically, I was doing no contact. We were doing no contact for about a month or so, and after a month, she reached out to me and she said something to the effect of, "Hey, I miss you so much. I miss not being able to, I miss knowing what's going on in your life, and I miss being able to connect with you, and I miss so much about you. I just want to talk to you. I'm tired of this game that we're playing." And you have to understand, up until that exact moment that I got that message from her, I thought she didn't care. I thought she had moved on. I thought she'd forgotten all about me. I thought that our relationship and our connection meant so little to her that she had just, basically flushed 5 years of our relationship down the toilet. But that wasn't the case. There was this entirely invisible process that I was not clued into. I don't know how many times she may have sat there thinking about whether or not she should send me a message and then just, decided to not do it. I don't know how many times she considered reaching out to me or calling me, but just decided not to do it because maybe some friend told her not to, or she read some advice on the internet that said never contact your ex or whatever. I don't know how many times she cried herself to sleep. I don't know how many times she was having a really hard day because of all of this. I was not clued into that, and I don't want you to forget about that there are things that your ex is going through that you just may not be able to see or experience or understand. But these are all things that are going on under the surface. And what's going to happen is, after you and your ex are in no contact, those feelings are probably going to start to grow over time to the point where they may eventually start to poke above the surface, and you might start to see certain things in their behavior, like them reaching out to you, them contacting you, etc. But please understand that there's this invisible process that's happening that you're just not clued into, that they're going through. And so what's going on is they're reaching out to you, they're contacting you, maybe in a dramatic way like my ex did, or maybe in a less dramatic way. Maybe they're just sending you some like really chill message like, hey, it's been a minute, what's going on? And if that's the case, then okay, you know, they're still going through that invisible process, they're just expressing it less. And so what we need to understand is your ex is probably going through this invisible process where they're missing the connection that the two of you had and valuing that connection and wondering like where it went, as they're starting to experience the consequence of the two of you not being in a relationship with one another. So what we really want to do as we're reaching out, or as they're reaching out to us, if we want to actually create a connection with them and get back together with them, is we want to be able to nurture that emotional bond and meet them where they're at. As we go ahead and get into this, if you do like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button for YouTube, and please make sure you subscribe to this channel as well too, making sure that you hit the bell icon as well too, so that you can get notified when we publish new content. And even when I do live streams, I do like to do a lot of live streams, and I'd love to be able to chat with you and get to know your situation and to connect with you as well too. But you're not going to necessarily be able to know when I'm going live unless you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon, okay? So if you want to reconnect with your ex and get back together with them, what you want to do is you want to be able to understand that this is where they're at. They're at this invisible process of missing you, and it's just starting to poke above the surface to the point where they feel compelled to act on it. And what you want to do is you want to be able to receive them where they're at emotionally. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, okay, you got to, you know, rub salt in the wound and make them hurt because they made you hurt or something like that. And obviously, if we just go around hurting each other, then that's not going to end up with a great dynamic, and it's not going to create a great relationship for anyone. So what we really want to do is we want to break that chain and say, okay, let's actually behave like adults here. Let's connect with one another. Let's open the door for us to actually bond and relate to one another and create a new dynamic between one another and connect with one another. And so what we really want to do is to be able to form that emotional connection. Again, I've said so many times on this channel that the quality of the emotional connection that you have with your ex is the most important thing in saving a relationship. As long as you focus in on that emotional connection, you're doing the right thing and you're doing what you need to do to bring the two of you closer together. So if you're just focusing in on that emotional connection and nurturing it, that is exactly what you're going to want to do in this process. And the best way that I know of to make that happen is to really go through and learn what we would call advanced relational skills. Now, if you want some help learning how to do all of that, we have this video playlist right over here that I think you should watch next. It's going to show you how to connect with your ex, build these advanced relational skills, and to create an unforgettable bond that's going to really open the door for the two of you to get back together, especially if your ex is reaching out right now after being in no contact. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you over there on that playlist.